As when Brita was native to Charlayan, I would feel it only fitting that we gather before the Mark of the Scholar. Are you familiar with the stone? It is a monument found at Rathfrost and is sacred to Thaliak, guardian deity of the City of Learning. There shall we pray for our dear friend's soul and bid her a peaceful return to the light to the Mother Crystal. God damn, she was so cool too. Ow. I've been here before.
Forgive me, Moonbreeder. Had I been quicker or wiser, but I was not, and you paid the price. But you would not suffer us to wallow in our sorrow, would you? You would tell us to pick ourselves up and get on with it. And so we shall. We shall defend this realm and her people to the last.
Life for death, a fair exchange. Other bargains will be struck.
They didn't see the dragon? Am I the only one that could see the dragon? Oh, let's see what else we gotta do now. Though we have said our farewells, the pall of sadness has diminished but little. Forgive me, as antecedent, it is my job to be the pillar of strength for all others to lean upon. Yet I also believe the grief we feel now is precious in its own way, and not to be lightly swept aside. Do you not agree, Severus? Tis as if a dagger has been thrust into my breast. But 'tis a pain we must learn to bear if we are to forge ahead with our duty. The battles we have fought have taken the lives of so many. Louisoix, Moonbrita, our fellows of the Waking Sands. Their spirit and dedication to our cause, however, will never be lost as long as we rise to fight once more. I hardly need remind you of this, of course. 'Tis for my own benefit that I repeat these words, a reaffirmation of mine own chosen path. If I do not rebuild the foundation of my resolve, I am like to collapse in a fit of weeping. My apologies again, Zeres. There is no other to whom I could display such weakness. You are my pillar of strength, and I fear I shall have need of your steadfast presence in the days to come. Victory won, a comrade lost. To honor the fallen, the living forge ever on, towards the light of a new day. God damn. Have you a moment, Ceres? I believe Ida wished a word with you. I should consider it a personal favor if you would lend a sympathetic ear to her troubles. She has not been herself since Moonbrida's passing, and my heart aches to see her so downcast. I'll be sure to do that. Hey, it's Ceres. Great. Oh, it's no use. I'm trying to stay positive, but it's hard, you know? The thing is, I know Moon would tell me off if she saw me moping around like this. So I decided to cheer myself up by getting her a special flower. I placed an order for a moon daisy with Rowena a little while ago. It's ready to be picked up. The trouble is, I find Rowena a bit difficult at the best of times, and, well, this isn't one of them. I know it's silly, but I just can't face it at the moment. So I was wondering, do you think you could maybe collect it from me? I have the coin to pay for the flower right here. Thank you so much. I'll be waiting for you and the daisy at Rathfrost. Rowena. What can I do for you today, adventure? Eldritch Trinket to trade? Yeah, they got you running errands now? Them Scions really know how to make the most of your talents, don't they? And then the savior rewards you to the bleeding market. Find use of your time, that is. Seriously though, you'd best learn to say no, or they'll have you mucking out the chocobo stables next. Anyway, what was it you were here to pick up? The moon daisy, was it? Here then, take it. Tell that Ida lass I've got a wide selection of headwear in stock if she ever decides to replace that dowdy old mask of hers. God knows she needs to. I wonder if we'll ever see her without her mask. Wait, why? It's so clear now. What happened to the? What happened to all that? To the blah, 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 blah. You can really see that now. Oh my god, it looks crazy. Actually, looks really fucking creepy. This is a decrepit dragon. Oh shit, I'm going the wrong way. God damn it. ba-dum. Merida. Ugh, Rowena can be so annoying. She just will not take no for an answer. Every time I visit her, she insists I replace my visor with something more fashionable. And when I tell her I like it just fine the way it is, she says it again and then again and then again. It drives me crazy. What I mean to say is, I really appreciate you doing this for me. So anyway, let's see it. When Brita loved these things, you know, I hope that somewhere, somehow, she knows I'm still thinking of her.
I'll never forget you, Moon. None of us will.
Dragon again.
The song riseth to a crescendo.
Oh God. Oh, that's a lot of dragons.
Is that what I think it is?
Hello, can you hear me? We have received grave tidings from Ishgard. Pray return to the Rising Stones at once.
You can have sent me to the Rising Stones already? What's going on? What's with all the dragons? My apologies for the interruption. I was deeply saddened to learn of Moonbrida's passing. It will also be sorely felt. Alas, recent developments in Ishgard leave us little time to mourn. The envoy from Kurthus will soon arrive, and we must hasten to hear her report. The envoy is here. Lucia? There's Lucia. I thank you for receiving me at such short notice. Time is of the essence. I would forego the usual pleasantries if I may. Certainly, you come with news of the Dravanians? Aye, the dragons have begun their attack in earnest. The first wave reached the central highlands a short while ago, and battle was joined soon thereafter. Sir Aymeric himself sailed forth with a contingent of temple knights and several companies of the noble house's finest. Though the beasts were ultimately forced into a retreat, our victory, such it may be called, came at the cost of many of our own. Too many. We would not withstand a second wave should the Dravanians renew their assault. You paint a grim picture, my lady. It is reinforcements you seek, then? We do. Though it pricks our pride, it is plain we cannot protect Ishgard with our ranks thus thinned by the horde. Sir Aymeric would meet with you to discuss the possibility of enlisting your aid. Very well. I shall depart for Kurthus at once. Must warn you, however, that the involvement of the Crystal Bears is by no means assured. Our commitment to quelling the unrest in Ul'dah must take precedence. It is with such contingencies in mind that I must make another request. The Clans of the Seventh Dawn are known for sharing close ties with all three of the grand companies of Eorzea. Would you consent to plead with our case to their leaders? Well, I will gladly appeal to the grand companies on your behalf. I dare not promise a favorable reply. You need say no more. Considering our past dealings with the Eorzean Alliance, I can well imagine our plea will be received. But the fate of Ishgard hangs in the balance. We must explore every avenue still open to us, no matter how unpromising. Very well. I shall send envoys to each of the allied nations and have them present your request directly to the heads of the grand companies. In the event that your plea does receive a favorable answer, know that any support is certain to be conditional. Demands will be made of Ishgard. That is only to be expected. Rest assured that I speak with Sir Amaric's authority in this matter, and that our actions are fully sanctioned by the Holy See. Which brings me to my final request, a personal appeal to you, Warrior of Light. The Lord Commander much desires to speak with you, regardless of your fellow's involvement. You faced Midgardsormr and survived. Anything you can share of your experience may yield us an advantage over the foe. Thank you. You wear the mantle of hero well. It would seem the road leads us both to Camp Dragonhead. Seek me out when you arrive, Zeres. Oh yeah, I would know a lot about Midgardsormr. He's in my fucking back pocket after all. Hanging over me like a goddamn bug.
The sons must answer for their father's misdeeds. Only then will the cycle be broken. Brothers and sisters of the heavens, we raise our voices and join you in the chorus. The sinner's feeble magics are undone. Come, claim your retribution.
Jesus. Really wants me to kick her ass again, huh? Oh, for now. It seems I was swifter, Ceres. You two, however, have arrived with time to spare, for our host has yet to make an appearance. The murmurings about camp tell of some manner of trouble at the gates of judgment. In the Lord Commander's absence, I suggest we visit the place and find out what is afoot. Don't worry, I saw the cutscene. It looks like they disabled the barrier. The gates of judgment are much more than mere doors. They are the outermost layer of Ishgard's magical wards, and our first line of defense can be so easy. If our first line of defense can be so easily shattered. I laid eyes upon Lady Iceheart. I felt the marrow freeze within my bones. Of course it did. Heretic scum! How dare they meddle with our divine protections? I shall rid our nation of their blasphemy, even if it means cutting them down one by one. We need not fret over much. There are yet several layers of arcane protection that shield the city from invasion. Mother will be fine. It would seem the heretic struck the first and most telling blow against Ishgard. Lions, we expected you at Camp Dragonhead. My apologies, we chanced to hear that there had been trouble at the gates, and thought it prudent to investigate the cause. Then you have learned of the heretic's treachery. Lady Iceheart led a force of her followers against our defenders, and came close enough to dispel the first of our wards. Let us speak more of this back at the camp. Sir Emmerich awaits you. Does he now? Oh my god, it's Flying Nimbus. Lady Iceheart has grown bold indeed if she would risk direct action against the city. Come, let us do as we are bred, and return to Camp Dragonhead. Lord Harkfont will know where Sir Emmerich means to receive us. It is reassuring indeed to behold the countenance of a friend when one's homeland teeters upon the very brink of disaster. Though a single misstep could send us plunging into the abyss, your heroic presence stokes the flames of courage within my heart. Oh, but you did not come to Dragonhead to listen to my prattling. Lord Commander has arrived and will treat with you in the intercatory. Well, let us go to the intermediary. Greetings, madam. Shall I show you inside? Yes, you will. I thank you for coming with such haste, and apologize for my absence. Suffice it to say, Lady Iceheart and her heretics have much to answer for. Yes, we are but recently returned from the Gates of Judgment ourselves. Given the circumstances, we quite understand if you would prefer to postpone our appointed audience. On the contrary, Master Alphino, I think it more important than ever that this meeting take place. Rest assured, I shall return to my post on Ishgard's walls the moment our business is concluded. Before we move on to the subject of reinforcements, however, I would introduce you to a close friend and stalwart ally, Estinine. God, who is this? My God. May I present to you Ashgard's Azure Dragoon. An impressive title, though I confess I know precious little of the Order of Dragoons. They are formidable warriors all, yet even among such masters of the lance, Estinian without equal. He out of all the warriors of Ishgard was chosen to wield the power of dragons, may thus contend with any Dravadian. You flatter me overmuch, Lord Commander. Oh, you are the adventurer of whom they spoke. I see now why my blood fares sang in anticipation of our meeting. Well, now that we have all been introduced, let us proceed to the matter at hand. I would share with you what we have learned of Iceheart's design, confessed by the heretics taken captive after the assault on the gates. It would seem that Lady Iceheart and the Dravanians share a common goal, the reclamation of Nidhogg's stolen eye. Nidhogg, one of the 7 great worms? His name features prominently in your nation's history, though once defeated by the hero Haldrath, the beast is said to have terrorized Kurthus since Ishgard's founding. Aye, many are the scars our walls bear from Nidhogg's relentless efforts to raise the city. The trophy Haldrath plucked from the beast's worm skull, known simply as the Eye, is a treasured relic of Ishgard, one possessed of untold power. Should it ever be returned to Nidhogg, the dread creature would be restored to the heights of its strength, and then no wall or ward we could erect be stout enough to deny him. My vengeful son hath waged war against Ishgard for 1,000 years. No mortal mind could comprehend the depths of his rancor. Shut the fuck up. The Eye itself is secreted deep within the vault. It is kept under heavy guard, surrounded at all times by men and women who have proven their loyalty to the Holy See. But those stout walls and sharp blades may suffice to discourage the heretics. The dragons are another matter. There are individuals within the Dravanian horde whom an entire company of knights were able to repel, to say nothing of Nidhogg himself. Nor does age rob them of their strength. Though the endless march of years the dragons endure, patient, calculated, inexorable. You must understand these creatures do not share our perception of time. That is especially true of the great worms, they who spend centuries in slumber only to wake and resume their campaign as if mere hours had passed. It has been 20 years since Nidhogg has last darkened our skies, 20 years for him to gather his strength and for us to bolster our defenses. And now, just as he seems primed to return, the heretics strike at the gate. You believe that Lady Iceheart is in league with the creature then? Of that we cannot be certain. Though we know the heretics covet the Eye, we have been unable to determine their plans for it. Such questions aside, we must needs address the ragged hole their mistress has seen fit to rend in Ishgard's protections. It is a weakness the Dravanians are not like to leave untested. So it would seem you have described your plight in admirable detail, Lord Commander, yet I cannot help but wonder at your candor why share such sensitive information with us. I shall speak plain. Ishgard has need of allies, and I would have you bolster our front lines in readiness for the coming battle against the dragons. This much I expected. Unlike our arrangement concerning the Keeper of the Lake, however, only you stand to benefit from our assistance in this matter. I fail to see why we should intervene in a conflict which concerns only Ishgard and Druvania. When the Eorzean Alliance requested Ishgard's assistance during Operation Archon, you refused us. Does it not seem grossly unjust to demand that we now risk our lives in your private war? Make no attempt to defend my country's conduct. I only ask that you consider what would follow with were Ishgard to fall. Having raised our city to the ground, the horde would have little cause to linger, and most would return to their lairs in Dravania. Soon thereafter, the ruins of Kurthus will be buried in snow, and the land will become the sole province of beasts and beastmen. Till the Guardian's arrival, that is, for you may be certain that the Empire would not hesitate to claim Kurthus. They would not even have to draw steel. An imperial province sharing a border with Mordona. Very well, we will assist you in repelling the dragons. The roar of a great worm may have shaken the firmament. We of Eorzea will not abandon our Ishgardian brothers to face the coming horde alone. When did I ever think you would? Now upon the matter of the roar. Allow me, Sir Aymeric. Through the power of the Eye, I have become the vessel of Nidhogg's strength. His essence has stolen into my very blood. Fear not, I am in full control of my faculties, I assure you, and the Eye itself is of no relevance to this tale. It is not essential that I bear it with me wheresoever I go. Its lingering influence does, however, allow me to hear Nidhogg's voice. And the worm who roared was Nidhogg, aye. He means to hurl his horde against Danafin's collar, shut out the remaining wards that protect the city. There can be no doubt the worm has summoned his minions to war. God damn. Though the circumstances are far from ideal, this desperate endeavor will at least provide us an opportunity to bring the sister states of Eorzea together in common cause. Sir Aymeric was more ruthless in his negotiations than I had anticipated. I suppose one must give no quarter when one's home is at stake. But did you see the look on his face when he formally requested our assistance? The Lord Commander has long campaigned for Ishgard to open its gates to outsiders. I suspect this softening of the Holy See's attitude towards foreign cooperation comes as something of a bittersweet victory. The days ahead promise to be interesting indeed. If we are to aid the Ishgardians in this war of theirs, preparations will have to be made, and soon. Before proceeding, however, we must needs to return to the Rising Stones and make our report to the antecedent. I'll give her my report. The dragons are coming. The dragons are coming. Giddy. In Philia, there be dragons in our midst.
Alphino, it is good to see you. Tell me, what have you learned?
Pray summon the others. Everyone must hear my report.
So this was all but a taste of what's to come.
Indeed. The main host advances upon Ishgard as we speak.
Whose vaunted defenses have been nullified.
Shorn of its wards, the city will bear the full force of Nidhogg's fury.
All those people.
Alphino is right. The Dravanians cannot be allowed to prevail. If Ishgard falls, all of Eorzea will suffer the consequences.
Then you agree that we have no choice but to intervene. For the good of the realm, the Scions of the Seventh Dawn and the Crystal Braves must join the defense of Ishgard.
Let there be no ambiguity about what has been proposed. We would be directly intervening in the war. But if all here believe the cause to be just, then to war we shall go. The path we now embark upon is perilous, but I pray you will walk with us to the end.
You know it.
For those we have lost, for those we can yet save.
Then it is settled. I shall inform the Council of our intentions and request that they contribute their own forces to the defense of Ishgard.
Oh. Something may be going on within our ranks. I have bid the Archons travel to their assigned nations. Should the members of the Alliance agree to pledge Grand Company soldiers to Ishgard's cause, our comrades will be on hand to act as intermediaries for the duration of the conflict. The small matter of persuading the Alliance leaders to grant such support I leave to Alphino. For you, my friend, a different task awaits. I would have you reach out to your fellow adventurers and gather what allies you may for the coming siege. I would also have you consider the matter of our own security. Revenant's Toll is but a short flight from the snowfields of Kurthis. It is not unimaginable that the fighting may spill across the border. Pray brief Slaftborn on the brewing conflict and discuss potential contingencies. The frontier settlers must be prepared for aught that might wing its way over our walls. I only hope that such precautions prove unnecessary. But before you leave, might I suggest that you have Tataru accompany you? He has a talent for administration and a firm grasp of the practical challenges we may encounter. I'll go anywhere with her. Tataru, I need your help. We are rather close to Kurthis, aren't we? We'd best see to our own defenses and take stock of our supplies. We'll also need to have beds and bandages laid out just in case. A good receptionist is ready for any eventuality. Let's go, Ceres. I have 101 things to discuss with Slaftborn. Right, Slaftborn. Need your help. I appreciate the warning. If war is coming to Kurthis, then the toll must be made ready. I'll increase the number of patrols and lookouts immediately. I'll also see about finding room for an infirmary, as well as temporary housing for victims of the conflict. Ishgard has done well by us in the past, and I would return to the favor. But as for rounding up volunteers for the fighting itself, I'm afraid I must disappoint you. I will not send my fellow guild members to die on Ishgardian soil, and I am certain headquarters will say the same. There will be no official Adventurers Guild presence at this siege. That said, each adventurer is of course free to do as he or she will. I shall have word with some of my more capable colleagues on your behalf. You might try your luck here in Revenant's Toll. I dare say there are a few stout souls about town who will answer your coat of arms. Let's get started, shall we? We have a town to rouse. Shooting again. Spare me your talk of glory and fame. I'm not in the habit of volunteering for lost causes. I've survived this long by trusting my instincts, and my instincts tell me to stay well away from Ishgard. Pussy. Hey, it's you. Ishgard sounds like she's in a right mess, but that ain't what I wanted to talk about. I need you to cast your mind back to the scuffle with the Empire out by the processing plant. A lad from Little Alamigo by the name of Wolfred was there with the fort that day. I want to know if you've seen him since, have you? I haven't, actually. God damn it, I feared as much. No one's bloody seen him. It's like the ground opened up and swallowed him whole. But that ain't all. Around the time Wolfred stopped turning up for duty, then black market weapons went missing from our vault in Ul'dah. So now, of course, half the braves suspect the lad of making off with the goods. Folk like to believe our company's a disciplined fighting force, but as you and me both know, there's no more in a motley crew collection of mercenaries, adventurers, and Grand Company veterans. The only thing that binds us together is some vague oath about fighting for the freedom of all. That and the steady pay. Now, compared to most others in this crew, Wilred's a fresh-faced novice, leading whelp amongst wolves. But the boy's got passion. When he talked about being a guardian of Eorzea, he bloody well meant it. A lad like him would have robbed us blind and bugger off like that. He ain't the type. And then, this is just between you and me, mind, is the fact that the lad wanted to tell me about something queer he'd noticed in the ledgers. Something about the Braves' numbers not adding up. Aye, there's a villain at the end of this trail I've stumbled upon. I bet me good eye it ain't young Wilred. Any road, you got a war to wage. So that you get on. Just thought someone should know. I'll be seeing this, Eris. Knew it. Something is going on. I think he let me know. Gotta watch my back. Ishgard seeks sellswords to bolster its ranks, eh? Although I'm not sure I like the sound of the siege, those nobles will surely be generous with their rewards. Ah, but I have pledged myself to guard Revenant's soul. Modest work though it is, I am loath to break the terms of my contract. What to do, what to do. Calf. Austere adventure. Damn, that's a big word. Sell me blade to the Asgardians? Well, them dragons are a fearsome lot, but I'd slay me fair share if the coin was good. I've worked for one of them knights before, you know. Watch me like a bloody hockey did. Still, I'd put up with worse than that for a heavy verse. Volunteer my service in the defense of Ishgard? I think not. Dragons claim the lives of every one of my brothers. I did not mean to offer them as mine. It was to escape such a fate that I took up the mantle of venture in the first place. I would sooner die in the pursuit of fortune than huddled behind an icy wall. Damn. Oh, Tadaru, I think we got one. I think. There you are, Sarah. So, did you slay any hearts? One or two? Hey, well, added to mine, that makes 3 or 4, not including Slackborn's friends. We won't have the largest company in the army, but I'd say one of Revenant's Toll's veteran is worth a dozen clanking knights at least. I've been so caught up with recruiting that I almost forgot. There's been a word from Alphino. Apparently, the Alliance leaders are convening in Ul'dah to discuss Ishgard's plight, and they requested your presence as usual. Of course they have. Anyway, you'd best make your way to Ul'dah, or you'll be late. Alphino said that he would meet you on the Royal Promenade. Of course. Can't have important political talks without me. The least political person in Eorzea. Oh. My apologies for calling you away from your tasks. I had hoped to proceed with these negotiations one leader at a time, but it seems my urgent request for an audience had prompted a gathering of the council. Needless to say, I felt obliged to attend. The Alliance leaders are already seated within. Let us join them, shall we?
We are well aware of Ishgard's dilemma, and we agree with your assessment.
Then I trust there are no objections to the Crystal Braves' intervention.
Ul'dah has not.
Gridania does not object.
The Crystal Braves are yours to command, Alphino. Do what you will. We shall pray for your success.
It was my hope that you would offer more substantial aid than prayer. I know it is within your means.
Do not presume that you have knowledge of our every concern. The Garleans and the Beast Tribes are but 2 of many. We are not in a position to contribute greatly to the defense of Ishgard, not when our own homes are still under siege.
We dare not leave our interests in Cartano undefended as well. Telegi Adalegi and his ilk would seize control of the territories in our absence.
The enemy is at their gates, and you would cower behind yours?
He's getting angry.
No one is cowering, boy. We will offer what support we can.
Aye, support. A handful of men and no more.
Would that we could commit more than a token force to this cause. Yet there are others to whom you might turn. The free companies ever want for work.
Ah, yes. The free companies. They're not like to turn you down.
I beg your pardon? You would entrust the survival of Ishgard to sell swords? Crises like these are the very reason why this alliance was formed. It is our duty to aid our fellow man.
My duty is to my country and my people. If you expect us to place the welfare of a foreign power above our own, you're going to be sorely disappointed. Lest you doubt, Limsa comes first, then the Alliance, and finally, circumstances permitting, Ishgard and the rest. If you cannot understand so simple a concept, then you have no place at this table.
Forgive me, Admiral. I was careless in my choice of words.
I suggest you assemble a party of elite adventurers, assuming you haven't already. Your fellows served us well during Operation Archon. I dare say they will do so again. If I may, Your Grace, I wish to propose a redistribution of forces. If we entrust the security of Uldar to the Brass Blades for a time, we can dispatch a larger force to Ishgard. Your Grace?
Yes. Yes, of course. Do what you will.
That ain't right.
Is Her Grace not feeling well?
To the best of my knowledge, Her Grace is in perfect health.
I see. Carry on.
Now, yes. Once again, I owe you an apology. Seems you have been conscripted into leading a contingent of adventurers on yet another mission of inestimable danger. But if we have been left with little alternative, we cannot well abandon Lord Harkfont and Sir Aymeric to their fate. We must abide by the Council's decision, as short-sighted as it is, strive to fulfill our roles as the Eorzeal's guardians. Captain Ilbert, what news? Then the assault has begun? We have but this moment concluded our audience with the Alliance leaders. Move our forces into position. Your unit will join House Durandare at the Steel Vigil. Ram the cannons alongside the knights and thin the Dravanian horde ere they descend upon Ishgard. We'll join you as soon as I am able. Darius, I would have you and your adventurer allies bolster the defenses at the Steps of Faith. Report first to Sir Marcelin at the Gates of Judgment. He will direct you to where you are needed most. May the gods grant us victory. Shit's about to go down. You're the appointed captain of the sellsword contingent? Then welcome. There is no shortage of blade work to be done. As we speak, Javanian skirmishes parties are harrying positions across the Central Highlands. I've assigned the Crystal Braves and your fellow adventurers to contain these scattered attacks, and for the present, I would have you join them. This is, of course, merely a precursor to the assault on Ishgard proper. The wily serpents seek to divide and confuse our forces, but will not be so easily drawn out of position. The Temple Knights will remain on the steps of faith and continue our preparations. When the Horde arrives in force, they shall face a wall of Ishgardian steel. Report back to me once the advanced skirmishers are slain. Oh, I would do that, but I think I'm gonna end it here. Thank you everybody for watching. I'll talk to you all tomorrow. Goodbye.